Welcome back to Singer Dad Reacts. My name is Josh, and I'm here to actually do a reaction to an artist that many of you have recommended since I started my channel. And so I'm going to be getting to, I believe you pronounce his name Tenger or Tengri, and his performance of Heaven from the Singer 2018 competition. So I'm excited about this one. A lot of you have really been talking it up, and I'm really interested to see what he sounds like. It sounds like he has a very unique singing style, and I think someone may have mentioned that he does throat singing, I believe, but we'll see if that's the case. The other thing that I did learn from some of your comments is that the song has a deep meaning to him because of his daughter died apparently when she was around 6 years old. And so the lyrics for the song and the message and what it means to him has a special meaning. And so I'm prepared for this one to be a touching performance from this artist. So it usually is when something has that deep a meaning to someone performing. So I'm going to read the lyrics that I found. Again, these were kind of hard to find as far as the lyrics, but I believe I found a good translation. It actually came from the comments for the video. It looked like a native speaker, so hopefully they're accurate. It says, "I see a blue sky over a green lake. Vast is the grassland. This is my homeland. Horses running wild there. Sheep as white as snow. Girl, wait for me. Where my heart's at home. I love you, my homeland. My homeland, my heaven. I miss you, my homeland. My homeland, my heaven. I see a blue sky over a green lake. Vast is the grassland. This is my homeland. I love you, my homeland. My homeland, my heaven. You will be fine." So I can see kind of a few of the phrases that stood out to me are, it says, "Girl, wait for me," right? So that could be construed, and it's probably talking about the homeland. Girl could be referring to the homeland, to the country, but in this case, for him, could also mean, girl, wait for me, his daughter, wait for me. And heaven, of course, could be construed as that place where people dwell, once they pass on. So that might be why the song has special meaning for him. And then it says, "You will be fine." So those words kind of come through from a father who's trying to tell their daughter, in this case, "You will be fine. I know that you're alone there without me, but wait for me, you'll be fine," that type of thing. So I don't know if that's what they're meant to mean, but that's kind of how it strikes me. So with that, let's go ahead and get started with the reaction. So for those of you new to my channel, if you could please subscribe and click on the notification bell. That way you can be notified of any new Tenger reactions, or any others that you may be interested in, such as Hua Chen Yu. That would be great. I would appreciate that. Also, if you'd like to check out my Patreon channel, if you go to patreon.com/SingerDadReacts, I have some updated pricing in there, and I'm going to be kind of updating some of my offerings in there as well. So be sure to take a look and see if any of these exclusive benefits I'm offering through my Patreon service are interesting to you. Oh, wow. Those are cool. throat singing.
Absolute shock, but in a great way.
Oh my.
Wow.
That is neat. So before it gets going here, so I did kind of prepare a little bit, and I listened to different examples of throat singing just to see if I could listen to what type they may be using in this song and see if I could pinpoint which one it is. So I have those off to the side here. So it's definitely not that one. It's not that one. It might be the Shlandik, which is one that creates a low set of undertones mixed with kind of a high whistle. There's also the Dum Chuktar, which is described as like a throat humming, and then the singer creates a sound similar to this other one, but they use the nasal passage. So the mouth does not need to be closed, but it could demonstrate what's going on a little better. So those are some of the ones, but I'm leaning toward Shlandik. So if you guys have more information about that as to what they're using here, what's interesting about the throat singing, it was interesting to kind of learn more about the origins of it. So it actually, in that part of the world with the Mongolian and some of the people in that part of the world, they actually use it and they perfect it in as it relates to nature, right? So they'll go and they'll listen to like the river or the birds and different things like that to kind of, that's how these different throat singing overtone type singing styles were created. And they use it for different things. So it was thought that the deers reacted to it, and so they would use it to hunt and things like that. So there was some actual practical uses for it, but it's just interesting to kind of learn a little bit more about how it came about and that this particular group of people in this part of the world use it quite often and very well, it sounds like. So with that, let's move forward. I'll go back just a little bit so we don't miss any of this gentleman here playing the keyboard. She was obviously shocked by it. Sounds like there's two different styles there, because one of them is a little higher.
Oh my.
Wow.
He starts, his mouth is open, but there's no sound coming out, and then all of a sudden the sound comes out. I've never seen a singing style like that before. That's very interesting. So they're forming the mouth and then sending the sound. So I'm wondering if he's sending air, but then he's opening the vocal cords or allowing the sound or the note itself to come through after a pause, or if it's just the mouth is open and then he sends the air. If any of you know kind of to that degree what style he's using and how it works, that would be really helpful. Be interested to know about that. me go back a little bit here.
这是我的家，哎，奔驰的骏马，洁白的羊群哦，还有你姑娘。
You, my girl.
这是我的家，哎，我的家，我的家，我的天堂，我的家。
Wow. Sorry if I pause it in an awkward spot there. I'll rewind it. You can tell what he's singing really means a lot to him, and he's singing it from the heart. And it sounds like from what you guys have said that he's thinking about his daughter as he sings this song. I can't even imagine. What it would be like to lose a child at 6 years old. I can't even imagine. I've mentioned on my channel before, so we have these friends of ours that they lost their daughter, their youngest, in a tragic accident where she drowned in their pool, and she was only 4 years old, and yeah, it's torn them apart, and it's been very hard for them, but yeah, so I can't even imagine. But yeah, as far as vocally, he's got the very interesting style there. So he's and I can tell just from some of these phrases that he is definitely continuing to support with the breath, but then he's pulling the sound back. So he's singing through. So he'll be like, oh, and then I don't even know how he does it, and then he won't hear the sound anymore, and then the sound will come back. It's very interesting. I never heard this style before, but you can tell just the people watching there are mesmerized by it. Let's see. Let me go back. My heart goes out to him though.
我的家，我的家，我的天堂。蓝蓝的天空，清清的湖水绿绿的草原，这是我的家。
Yeah, his style is just so interesting. I've never seen anything like it. I can see why you all were requesting and suggesting that I check him out, because I am intrigued and very interested in seeing these different singing styles. The throat singing kind of reminds me. I don't know if any of you have watched Avi Kaplan, but he can do overtone singing. So there's a video out there on YouTube where he sings in an overtone. It's like no, and then in a higher whistle tone, he's doing the Lion Sleeps Tonight. It's pretty crazy that he can do that. But so that was one of the first times I'd kind of heard something like that. But you can tell one of the gentlemen there that was sitting there was getting emotional, kind of watching this, and yeah, it's, as I've mentioned before, and if you're new to my channel, I mentioned it before, as a performer myself, one of the hardest things is if you're performing a song that really means a lot to you emotionally and you're connected to it in some way, and you're singing directly to or about somebody that you care very deeply about, it's very hard to rein those emotions in and make it through the performance without, those emotions kind of taking over and interrupting your ability to finish the song. So I have to give him props for being able to continue on like this. Let me rewind a little bit here.
清的湖水啊，
He also doesn't move his mouth every time.
绿绿的
Yeah,
草
there's the,
这是我的家。我爱你，我的家，我的家，我的天堂。我爱你，我的家，我的家，我的天堂。
At first I thought that high note, that who high note that was coming was from the backup singers. But then it just became more clear from right there that it's him singing it. So I think he's like in his falsetto or something. Let me go back here. I want to hear those high notes again, because I think when he first starts, he's the one singing it.
家，我的家，我的天堂。
See, the backup singers are also
He's 58 years old
Wow.
this time.
我们的马屁精手超克、汉密尔，谢谢。
Wow. that was very interesting. Yeah, that was neat. It's always amazing to me to hear what can be created with the human voice. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the things I love about doing reactions to different artists from different parts of the world and different genres, because you have all these different voice types and vocal methods, singing styles, and unique techniques, such as what we saw with this number, right? With the throat singing and with some of the stuff that he was doing with the placement of the sound and pushing it out and back and forth and things like that. And it was really interesting. I mean, and also a lot of the singers that I've done reactions for, they're moving in and out of their register kind of in a flowing fashion, right? So they're singing up the scale, or they're coming down from it, across their bridge like this. But in his case, he was singing these high notes and then he would jump down. So he wasn't kind of going down into his chest voice. He was jumping from his falsetto down back into his chest voice, kind of two separate areas of his voice that he was kind of, utilizing for different parts of the song. And I suspect that those from this part of the world that can do the overtone singing and things like that, they have to be able to kind of have control over the different registers in a unique way, because they're channeling the upper stuff while they're singing the lower tones in a lot of cases, with like what we heard at the beginning. It's very interesting as far as vocally with the vocal cords and what they can do, how unique it is as far as their manipulation of the vocal cord and so forth. But I have to say, like I said before, I mean, I was also touched by the passion that he brought to this song, and I understand that this song means a lot to him from what I've read and from what some of you have said. And you could tell by the gentleman, like I said, that was getting emotional, that was watching, that he was touched and that he knew how much it meant to this gentleman as a father and someone that tragically lost a young daughter. So I love that. I love to be touched by a performance and to have that connection of the human spirit with another performer that is sharing something very special through the music. That is, I think, the most wholesome, pure aspect of music, is to share something that special and to open yourself up like that and show that vulnerability and that, in this case, longing and this love that he has for his daughter, and this longing to be with her again and hug her and see her and spend time with her again. So it was a neat performance, and I thank you for recommending it, and I'll look for more performances from him, and please help me out on the pronunciation. I want to make sure I pronounce it correctly, and if you could phonetically show how it's supposed to be pronounced, that would be very helpful. But yeah, suggest more songs from him and more in this style if you're interested in kind of having me see some more of that as far as the throat singing or whatever. It is very interesting, and like I said, I think in my last reaction, I do love to learn more about the vocal instrument and about singing and all of that, and so to kind of learn a little bit about throat singing, that was a lot of fun. So let me know on that. And I do appreciate all of you and your support. If you haven't already, please subscribe, click on the notifications, and I hope that this reaction finds you all healthy and happy, and spending quality time with your loved ones, because as this gentleman found out, you never know, how much time we have. So it's important to make the most of what we have. So again, thank you and take care.